Good morning, folks. It's Cynthia here with your daily tarot pick a card. Well, not pick a card, daily tarot card, card of the day. In any case, so I hope you're all having a wonderful week, and I look forward to doing this with you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. Please know that whenever you happen to find this reading, you will have a message here. No matter what day of the week that it is. If you're drawn to watch, then here we are. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And after I rattle off about today's card and today's energy, as expressed by that card, I will leave some time, a moment of pause at the end of the video so you can tune right into the card yourself and use your own intuition to sort of feel out what that means for you. And I would also like to let you know that we are using the Sacred Circle Tarot from Anna Franklin and Paul Mason, and you'll find that listed in the description box below. So if you're interested in exploring it further, you're more than welcome to. And today's card we see is the Six of Swords. Solace is the key word on this particular card. I don't usually use reversals, but in this particular card, what's standing out to me is the fact that all of the swords are pointed downward. And this is a great card of movement, communication, and in that movement, there could be some watery emotional energy, or there could literally be, like if you were relocating or going on a trip, there could actually literally be a body of water. However, what I'm noting really is that with the swords pointed downwards, it's like a peacefulness, calm mind, and a sense of going with the flow. In, for example, the Rider-Waite Tarot, there's a ferryman on a boat, and then there's two people, an adult and a child, sitting in the boat, and the six swords are pointed downward in the boat, and there's this movement across a body of water. That being a somewhat classic depiction of this card, when we look at it right side up, solace, they're pointed upwards. And it's kind of like a marsh with, what is that? Is that a chateau? No, that's a butterfly. Transformation. I guess I need glasses, huh? So yeah, it could be a transformative day. And again, it could be making that mental journey of calming the mind. Engaging in some journaling or meditation is a good one. Being out in nature, possibly taking yourself to a tree or a body of water, river, lake, pond, ocean, the fountain in the park, or wherever the case might be, or having a soothing salt bath or a nice steamy shower, something of that nature. There's a certain amount of cleansing. I'm picking up on the water energy, even though it's an air element card, but I'm picking up on the water element. And I think that has to do with the go with the flow. And I keep hearing go with the flow. So it's about calming the mind enough to get into that space where you can just say, okay, this is where it's going, and I'm going to be okay with that, because you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes the process of calming the mind requires being out in nature, finding something calming and peaceful, journaling, or doing something that specifically feels relaxing to you. All right. But with that calmed mental energy, it allows you to step into that state where you can more easily go with the flow. If something is changing, if something is redirecting, if you're not sure of what exactly the next step is, it's finding that poise and that balance mentally, emotionally, before moving into the next step, which could be some kind of a more external communication, like making a phone call, sending an email, having an interaction, mediating between two people. So if we're going from the changes that happened in the Five of Swords to the diplomacy that could happen in communication with the Seven of Swords, the Six of Swords is then in that in-between state where you're trying to find the calm, the inner peace, even if you're just hitting neutral zone, but the relaxation enough, calming the nerves, calming the stress or the anxiety or the fear or whatever it might be, or calming, it could be on the flip side of things, you could have gotten notice that you're receiving an award or you've been nominated for an award. You could have received a communication that you got a new job offer, and you have to make a decision. Do I stay here? Do I move there? You could have just closed escrow on a new home or a new residence or something like that. You could have just, finished a business proposal and you're about getting ready to meet with investors or team members, people that you would like to support this work and or work with you on it, right? So even it doesn't always have to be a bad thing that we're trying to calm ourselves from. It can be exciting things too. But if we get the excitement is good, and following that excitement and the passion and what lights you up is absolutely wonderful. That's how you should walk through life. But if it gets too much, if it gets overexcited, over enthusiastic, we can rush through things without clarity. We can make impulsive decisions, take quick actions without knowing all of the ins and outs. And that can just end up challenging or complicating things later. And so what this is really asking you to do for today is clear your mind, get to neutral or, some sense of calm, inner peace, quiet joyfulness, let's say, or relaxation or comfort in that level to regain a certain amount of stability and clarity as you're moving through whatever this bright, beautiful transition with this little tiny butterfly there could be symbolizing. And so it's that opportunity. It's that opportunity to remember to take some time for yourself in order to regain a certain amount of internal, mental, emotional stability as things are changing, and to be open to going with the flow, being curious rather than saying this result has to happen or it has to work out this way. The meeting has to go this way in order for me to feel good. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You can be excited. But how are you going to use that to your advantage to invite others to join you in your excitement? How are you going to communicate that effectively without being overbearing or forcing your particular outcome? There's 1,001 ways there. Just because you're presented with one opportunity or one situation at the moment doesn't mean that it's going to turn out. Be curious about what that is. Let your excitement fuel your curiosity for taking actions, communicating clearly, moving forward, but not attaching to what the outcome has to be. Recognizing that if I go with the flow, that I'm always going to know what the next step is. So what if those investors say no? Well, then I know that if I'm going with the flow and I'm more neutral, and I'm letting my excitement and my curiosity fuel the next step, then when they say no, I will know exactly what to do next. I will know who I can go to. And you don't always have to plan that out ahead of time, but you could be inspired. You might not always have your plan B set up right away. And even if you do, you could end up needing a plan C. Well, you can't spend your whole time planning, but if you go with the flow and you're moving with a balanced excitement and you're letting your enthusiasm inform your curiosity, that means that you're open to receiving inspiration. You get out of plan B meeting and somebody walks up to you and says, hey, I know these guys aren't really interested or this, that, the other thing. And then all of a sudden they hand you a lead and you're like, wow. But if you hadn't been in that frame of mind, if you'd been hung up on the result and it didn't go your way, then you wouldn't have been open to receiving that information. You could have seen that person walking towards you and been a little bit defensive or disappointed and not really open up the conversation to speak with them. So they would never give you the lead, right? Or they could see you and want to approach you. But if you're in a state of, forcefulness or aggression or disappointment or something like that, then they could turn around and be like, nah, maybe that lead isn't right for them, and they could withhold that. So by going with the flow, yes, wanting to act towards the good outcome that you're excited for and having faith that you can get there, but being open and curious about, I wonder how that's going to happen. Well, let me take this step and see what happens. Let me take this step and see what happens. And then you're inviting in opportunities. So the Six of Swords today is really letting you know to find that in between calm space, whatever you're working towards, whatever transition you're going through or changes you're having, whether you're really excited about this or whether you need to process and integrate sort of things that have been going on, no matter what, changes that have been made that maybe were unexpected, one way or the other. It's about calming the mind and going with the flow and checking your inner peace scale. So with that, I wish you a wonderful, beautiful day. I certainly hope you do find some time for some journaling or a walk in nature or some kind of relaxing self-care that can kind of put your mind at ease, put your heart at ease, and let you be open to exciting new possibilities, because that's what's on tap. So I wish you lots of peace and blessings, and I will see you tomorrow.